I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if you all can see my screen and hear me as well.
Yes, yes, well,
Oh, okay.
we can.
So, this is the workshop, Enhance Your Personal Effectiveness. And we have Madhu as our workshop facilitator. And it is the second session of her. She did a talk as well little while ago. And when I met Madhu for the first time, there were three words that came to my mind. One was passion, second was happiness, and third one was honesty. These three words were the first impression of Madhu. Wonderful person. She's a known international and national speaker. Her story has been covered in many leading newspaper in India, and I think I saw her recently or like 1 year ago in an advertisement as well. I don't know how she manages to do all those activities. Right now she's on vacation, but since we had planned this session beforehand, so thanks to her, we are doing this session. She has decades of experience in conducting workshops. She's a certified leadership coach, and a renowned speaker and a panelist at a lot of conferences. Now, Creative Morning Gurgaon has been into existence for the past 2 year, I guess. This is our Facebook. Now the session happens once in a month, uh, but in between there are a lot of interesting content which is generated across the globe and it is shared. So what I would suggest you to subscribe to this page. That way you will remain connected to the community as well as you will have access to a lot of interesting content. Saikat, I would request you to paste this link in the chat window so that everyone can check this out. So in case you don't want to do it now, go to Facebook, search for Creative Morning GGM or Creative Morning Gurugram. You will be able to do so. Now, this is the small team who is right now working behind the scene. This is me, Alok. This is Saikat, and this is Samarth. Yes, three of us. We are specs, which I just noticed like when I was present, when I was putting this together yesterday. So without these people, the session that you are participating right now would not have been possible. Cool. So before Madhu get into the workshop, Saikat has planned one or two activities. This is just to help you kind of relax and kind of get into the focus zone as well. That's what he said. So I'm also going to try with you all. Over to you, Saikat.
Yeah, thank you, Alok. Thank you. Yeah, so hello everyone, and I guess this is the first Creative Mornings session for many of us, not for all of us, but for some. And so we'd like to probably get acquainted with each other at first. So what we will do, we'll introduce ourselves. So basic details like we'll talk about our names.
As I'm the speaker, I have the mic, I'll tell you more. Uh, so, first of all, thank you so much for sparing time early morning on a Saturday and a lot of us do have offs on the weekends, so on a Saturday. So getting up early and completing your daily chores and then being on it is awesome. So thank you so much, and thank you, Alok, for the wonderful words you shared. It felt great to hear what you said. Uh, and also a sense of bar being raised, that you've set the bar really high. I hope and that the expectations really high from everyone. I hope I'm able to meet. the expectations. So a bit more about me, and then we before, yeah, anybody has a question or anything to say before I say any more or share more?
Go ahead, Madhu.
All right, great. So yeah, as I said, I'm into the field of learning and development. I started as a voice and accent trainer. I used to do voice and accent training, and then got into behavior. Psychology was something that was really, really close to my heart. So I'm glad that I'm in a profession where I get to understand people more and learn from people more. I believe that learning is an endless journey. It's a process that we all must go through. um, just an FYI, I won't be able to see your faces, but I do recognize your voices because I happen to be 100% totally blind since birth. But of course, there's no barrier of communication amongst us. You can just unmute and talk, or you can type in your thoughts in the chat window, and I use a screen reader using which I will be able to hear you and hear your thoughts and read your inputs. So I'm enabled by technology, on that front. So with
Awesome.
that, let's let's straight away venture into understanding more about ourselves. Now, I titled it "How to Gain Personal Effectiveness." Right. So before we talk about effectiveness, and a lot of times we're focused on ये इफेक्टिव नहीं है, वो ऐसा नहीं करता, that person does not do this person does not do that. Today we want to spend time in looking at what do I do, how am I, who am I, whether I am effective or not. As they say, charity begins at home. As they say, a tree or a plant blossoms only when the roots are strong, right? Similarly, we, our personality also blossoms, grows, becomes amazing when our roots are strong. And what is our root? What makes our root? Our values, our characteristics, our what is in the inside of us. That makes us strong. Um, so let me ask you this, and you can either unmute or put your thoughts in the chat window. What do you think makes people ineffective? For us to understand effectiveness first, let's understand what is ineffectiveness, because वो जानना ज़्यादा आसान है ना. People are comfortably able to talk about ineffectiveness, that too in others that they see. So what is that ineffectiveness that you see in others?
So one thing in effectiveness,
Hmm.
how I see is like they're not able to focus. So I'm typing.
Not
I've
able.
typed that in the chat as well.
Okay.
So Madhu, if you
Not.
want me to
Yeah.
read, I can read that for you.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So Tina says,
Rujuta
think
says that
sometimes
not reaching
Rujuta
particular goals, right? Not
not
reaching particular.
yes.
Okay. Overthinking sometimes, Tina said.
Sure is saying absence of some motive or goals in life.
Okay. Uh-huh. All right.
And sometimes overthinking about what other people are thinking.
Okay. Sometimes overthinking about, and isn't that something that we always struggle with? Sometimes overthinking about what others are thinking. If I can use Hindi, and I'll translate back in English as well. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? The biggest trouble that we suffer, or it's like a disease, that what will people say. And a lot of times we are busy thinking that or worrying about that. Absolutely, worries makes us ineffective.
Yep. So Saikath is saying not being able to take breaks, and from Ajay, not able to express yourself properly sometimes.
Not able to take a break, not able to express yourself. ourselves, not able to, yeah, absolutely, that can make us ineffective. What else? Think.
I guess stress, or
Stress.
like stress over expectation,
Yes.
or the sense of competition.
Sense of competition. Yeah. People are getting ahead of us, right? What do I do? How do I manage? So, okay, now let me shift the focus. If that makes us ineffective, what will make us effective? We know what makes us, what is the ineffectiveness that we see. What will make us effective then?
Controlling your own thoughts.
Hmm.
Not overthinking.
A word of encouragement, okay.
So from
Using
our
your full potential. That's a wonderful one. Using your full potential. Okay. What else? And you can use the liberty of unmuting and talking. That's absolutely fine with us. We love to hear your voice. Letting go of worry, yes, Alok, and it's very hard to do. In Hindi, again, they say चिंता और चिता में सिर्फ एक बिंदु का फर्क होता है. There's, चिंता is worry, चिता is of course where we, when the last rites are performed, right? So it's like literally burning yourself when you worry. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Being selfish and thinking of self. Okay. As long as you're not hurting anyone. Okay. Focused actions, absolutely, Tina. Okay. Now, who has the power for doing all of this? Who has the power? Look at your responses, the things that you said, right? Being effective, being able to perform focused actions, being being able to think of self, being able to let go of the worries. Who has the power? Okay, all of us. Me, myself has the power, right? Me, myself has the power. I have the power to do what I want to do, to choose where I want to be. So, my friends, uh, one of the habits that we want all of us to inculcate and remember is ultimately it all starts with me. And I have the power. A lot of times, in fact, think about it. When you're stressed about something, when you're upset about something, or when you get mad at something, or when you really get angry at someone, when you do deep thinking, you will realize that the reason for that anger, that disturbance, that stress, somewhere lies within me. Basically, I can trace back all the follies to myself, but we end up blaming others, right? And therefore, we want to take ownership. And one lesson that I want to leave all of us with is, in order for us to be effective, we need to be responsible. And if you look at the word responsible, it also means, when you break the word responsible, what does it mean? Response able. I have the ability to respond. And what's the opposite of being responsive? Is being reactive, right? When we are succumbing to the situation, or when we are saying, he did that to me, or she did that to me, or something that we all of us suffer with, called the poor little old me syndrome, the plum syndrome. Poor little old me. Why does this always happen to me? Why me? Right? And think about it. When we get something nice, we never say, why me? Why did I get this good time? Why did I get this reward? Why did I get this recognition? We don't do that. But when things go wrong, we always ask and say, why me? Right? So that's where we want to take ownership in our own hands. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish Austrian psychiatrist, right? He was in the Nazi death camp. If anybody likes to read, you can read his book called Man's Search for Meaning, right? It's a very nice book. He talks a lot about about this as well, and he says that whatever happens to us, you see, nobody can take away my uh, power to respond. So between what happens to me and my response, there is a space. And in that space lies my freedom to choose my response. Right. So that's the name of the book. Let me type it here for you. If you like reading, it's called
I did.
Man's.
I shared it, Madhu. I shared
All
the
right,
link.
great. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Man's search for meaning. And he when you read that book, you will know the atrocities, the hardships that he was going through. He did not know next minute whether he would survive or not, right? But he said that they can take away everything from me, but they cannot take away my self respect from me unless I give it to them. And that's where lies their freedom to choose the response. And he says, and there's another book called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. This is by Dr. Stephen R. Covey, right? He was a very, very famous personality. When you YouTube, you'll find a lot of videos of him. Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And then there are other books as well that have been written. Dr. Kavi passed away in 2012, but truly he's left a legacy behind for people to be effective, people to know what it really means to be, um, to live a life of effectiveness. So and one of the habits of Dr. Kavi's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, in fact, habit one says, put begin sorry be proactive, not reactive. And all these habits, when you read that book, you will realize that they are based on principles. Principles basically never change, right? Principles are universal laws, universal truths, where they're timeless, they never change, and they work across the globe, right? Like just like sunrises in the east, you cannot deny it. They're based on principles. So habit one talks about be responsible or be proactive, right? And that is the first step to be able to take that ownership of my life and say that, hey, if life were a kite, then the string of it is in my hands. If life's movie was being played on the TV, then the remote is in my hands. I take the onus of being effective. So that is something that I want all of us to remember. So what did Viktor Frankl do to be effective? He used something called the four gifts, and Dr. Kavi also mentions this, that all human beings are blessed with. We're human beings, right? We uh, and we have these four gifts or human endowments, as we can Dr. Kavi also calls them, which is self-awareness. That today, if I'm going through an emotion, I can be aware. I know, right? Self-awareness. Viktor Frankl knew that he was going through this pain. He was struggling. He felt terrible inside. He was also aware that people were doing something to him and he couldn't stop them. Kick them, slap them, shout will not get him any benefit. Right? Self-awareness. He used something called the power of imagination, which all human beings have, right? We can imagine our future. So sitting there, he used to visualize how he would be released, and post his release he will be lecturing to his students and talking about the experiences. That was the imagination that he was building, he was creating. The third gift that we all are blessed with is conscience. And conscience is your ability to decipher, कहते हैं ना, conscience, that inner voice that tells you what's right, what's wrong, right? That if I what's happening with me is right or wrong. My decision, is it right or wrong? Is it with integrity? Does it have integrity or not? Right. So that's my conscience. And then the fourth one, which is to my mind one of the biggest ones, is independent will, free will. We are independent. We have the power to make a choice. So my friends, lesson one for all of us: to be effective, to bring in the personal effectiveness, take the remote in your hands, take that control in your hands, and uh, and follow the four human endowments. So I'll pause here. Any questions, any thoughts? Any thoughts, any questions? How does this sound? Do you agree? These things do sound idealistic, but to tell you the truth, this is the only way to go about it.
So Madhu, how do I apply it now? I mean, I understand like there are a lot of things which are in
Mm,
my control, right?
mm,
Yet it becomes very difficult. So, in
mm.
your experience, what is the best way to get started?
The best way to get started is something that you know best, right? But one of the things that you can do is, you see, we all have something called the reactive buttons, hot buttons. What tricks me off? What puts me off? If you can identify those, and some people have their reactive buttons literally on the forehead. you you meddle with mess with me on this one, you've had it. Right. So for some people, you will know what their reactive buttons are, and you also know your own reactive buttons. But a lot of times we ignore them, we don't pay heed to them, and we think that no, I'm the best. To my mind, I would be the most sincere person. To me, I would be doing everything right, and I wouldn't end up thinking my reactive button. So what puts me off? What are my ineffectivenesses? If I take a decision, what is it that stops me from implementing that decision? Or if others do this, what puts me off? What others will do, you can't control, but what you want to do, you can control. That's one, right? um then then I want to talk to you about one more thing, which is truly the principle of effectiveness. And anybody heard the Aesop's fable, the fable that talks about the goose that laid golden eggs?
Yeah, during school time.
During school time, huh? Okay, what about others? Have you heard that story?
Yep, Psychoth says yes,
Okay,
Tina is yes.
okay. Who wants to narrate that story quickly?
I guess it will be you, Madhu.
Huh?
I guess it will be you.
Okay, so here goes. The story goes like this, right? There was this one farmer, very, very poor farmer. Okay. And this farmer had a lot of hens also. So he would collect the eggs, and he would sell the eggs, and he would make a lot of money as well. A lot in the sense just to support him to survive, right? He was a poor farmer. One fine day, what he observes is that there was this hen, and next to this hen was a golden egg, hen or goose, whatever you like to call it, right? So the goose, and the farmer was excited to see that. First he picked it up, he looked at it and said, maybe it's not something that I it can't be the truth, can't happen, won't be that. So he said, okay, let me leave it here. So then he leaves it, but then he goes back again, says, no, something tells me I should pick it up and go to the jeweler. So he picks it up and goes to the jeweler, and he says, can you check this? It looks like gold, but how can a goose give a golden egg? I'm really confused. So the jeweler looks at it and evaluates. And you see, jewelers really know best about diamond and gold and all those things. So he says, "Yes, you're lucky. It is a pure golden egg." And he goes ahead and says, "Okay, wow, I'm really lucky. Thank you so much. Now, please take this and give me the money." Takes the money, goes back, and next day he wakes up, goes to the farm, and goes to next to the goose, says, "Oh, oh, oh, okay, there comes another golden egg. Wow." So he rushes to the jeweler, sells it off again. Third day, morning, "Oh, oh, oh, another golden egg. Wow." And then the fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, farmer starts getting greedier by the day. So one fine day, what does he start to do? What does he think of doing? He goes ahead and cuts open the goose, the stomach of the goose, only to realize in the stomach there were no golden eggs. So what happened? What's the moral of the story?
Don't be a vegetarian. Sorry.
What else? Yeah, absolutely. Mhm. What else is the moral of the story? Mhm.
So patience, not to be too greedy, and
Okay.
greed is not good.
Not to be too greedy, absolutely. Greed is absolutely not good, right? Absolutely. Okay. Be curious, but not too greedy. Thanks, Shreya, for that one. Yeah, it's important to be curious, right? But then for that, and what's the loss that the farmer is facing now? The goose that had the capability to produce golden eggs is gone. Not just the capability is gone, the golden eggs are also gone. Compare yourself with that that goose, right? There is so much of capability that you have to do things, right? You have the capability to innovate. You have the capability to produce those wonderful graphic designs that you do. You have the capability to learn and grow, right? You have the capability to produce those wonderful podcasts that you produce. You have the capability to be an excellent software developer. You have all those capabilities, right? And forgive me if I'm missing out on anybody's current profession, but that's your capability, the good work that you do. And what's the production that you're getting? What are your golden eggs? The wonderful podcasts that you produce, the products that you come up with, the all of that is your production, your golden eggs. But you can get those golden eggs only as long as you take care of the goose. If you leave the goose to die, how will you get those golden eggs? You need to start, we all need to start taking care of the goose. Think about this like this. um if you all drive, right? When your car, and what helps you get that mileage is the fuel. Ever been busy driving to even stop to get fuel? If you don't get fuel, what will happen? How long can you drive? You can't go too far, right? In order for you to cover the miles that you want to, in order to get those results, you need fuel in your car. And that's where you need fuel for yourself as well. You see, you need to, the second lesson that I want all of us to take away, and remember, all these lessons are building over each other, right? So, one, ownership you have to take, responsibility you have to take, you have to identify your hot buttons. Second, you need to ensure that you take care of yourself holistically, right? We have the body, We have the mind, we have the heart, we have the soul. And we need to take care of ourselves in all these four directions. So, how can you take care of the goose, yourself, the body? What can you do?
Like, how do we take care of our body?
Body, yes.
Body that includes mind,
Yeah.
mind as well. Okay.
Body, mind,
Exercise.
heart, soul. We need to take care of all four. But how do you take care of the body?
Yeah.
Healthy food and exercise. Brilliant. What else? Be mindful. Okay. Okay. Exercises. Okay. Okay. Ajay says meditation and yoga. Wonderful. Self awareness. Absolutely. Okay. Along with physical exercise, mental exercise is absolutely mandatory. Yeah. Now, how do we? So, physical exercise. You see, let me ask you. We all know that it's important to do physical exercise, right? How many of us actually do that? That's $1 million question, right? Okay, yeah, Alok, meditation is good. Okay, that's great, Sekat. You exercise, you regularly exercise. Very good, Tina. That's brilliant. Okay. Sometimes, okay, sometimes. And what stops us is something that you want to think about, right? Almost, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Alok, we want to get regular with it, right? Yes. So, okay. So that's the whole thing, you see. We want to bring in regularity in what we do. It's good to, and it's good to be self-aware, right? It's good to know how much I do and whether I'm regular at it or not. And sometimes what stops us from being regular is also because we take an overdose of whatever we do. Today, if I walk 5 miles, tomorrow my thighs will hurt, my legs will hurt, and I won't be able to cover that distance, right? So if today I limit it to maybe a mile and a half, tomorrow, day after, I can slowly, gradually increase it and, and build it as a regular habit. Something that you can do regularly and you can sustain what you do is when it becomes a habit in a true sense, right? So for the physical care, you can take good exercise, good food, right? Drink water. It's a good idea to have water regularly, 6 to 8 glasses a day, right? And sleep. Don't underestimate the power of sleep, because when you sleep, it recharges your body, right? And by the way, all of this is also important for the mind. Exercising improves better blood flow in your body, which improves your oxygen levels also in your body, which and your mind also needs that, right? So brilliant. Meditation also good for the mind and body both. What happens to the heart? What's required for the heart? And heart, I'm not talking about the hardware heart, okay? I'm also talking about the dil, the emotions. Heart, in another word, in the words that I'm talking, in the words that Stephen Covey also talks, in the words that a lot other um, spiritualists also talk, is your that dimension of you where you need to take care of your social health and your emotional health. So body will be physical, mind will be mental, heart will be social and emotional, and soul will be spiritual. So what will you do for your heart and emotions? What can you do for that? For mind, absolutely books. Okay, now we need to think of heart. Yes.
Yeah, I was not prepared for heart, so that's a wonderful question actually.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. Compassion and empathy exercises. Wonderful. That's a beautiful one. Yes. Okay. 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 Cinema, food, mishti doi, right? Roshogulla, sandesh. Those are all Bengali sweets, right? Absolutely. So for the heart, like you rightly said, connecting with people. Maybe you can take this as a task for yourself, that today when you go back, you will talk to somebody who you have not spoken in a long while. That could be possibly one action item that you can take for yourself today. In addition to, of course, identifying your hot buttons, committing to exercise, your mental well-being, you can do that, right? Do we earlier, when I was young, I'm still young, I'm forever 21. uh, don't go by what Alok said, that she has these many years of experience, right? Right. So but when I was little, I used to see that people would have at least one meal together. The family would come together and have one meal together. But these days what we get to see is we're sitting together, but still one is on the phone, the other one is on the computer, the third one is watching TV. We're all doing our own things. We are neither with the family members nor with the food. And that, my friends, if we focus a little, can be a good way to give treat to your heart, to rejuvenate your heart, connecting with family members and being with your food. Pursuing a hobby. Pursuing a hobby can be something really good for your heart, right? Something that you're really passionate about, that enriches your heart. That can be another action that you can take. Any thoughts? Does it sound possible?
Yeah, it does for me. So I bought guitar, and
Okay.
now I'm looking for a instructor, but because of the current situation, I'm not able to find one. But I
YouTube.
guess,
Go to YouTube. Take YouTube lessons.
yeah, I tried. It didn't work out that well. So with the
Okay.
instruction comes the discipline as well,
Mm. Hmm.
right? And
Eh,
the social aspect, right? Someone doing it together
correct.
makes it a little easier. But I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Personal hobby is something which really very which is important. It gives a diversity of thought. It was, I guess, Samath had ran into Creative Morning. He had attended in Australia, then he got it
Hmm.
going in Gurgaon. It's very different from our work, but I
Hmm.
guess uh, the kind of good thoughts and the vibes that we get
Hmm.
really makes a lot of difference. When I like
Hmm.
leave the creative morning session, at least for some time, I have that positive feeling.
Hmm. And you need to sustain it.
That's why I guess
Uh,
we are doing it as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Um, Now, the other dimension that I mentioned was spiritual or the soul. What is that? What can you do for that? Soul, spirit.
For the soul, what I do for the soul, I'll just give my
Hmm.
perspective. I look up at the night sky. When I look
Uh-huh.
up at the night sky, I look up at the stars. I
Hmm.
sometimes, if I'm on my computer, I'll probably
Wow.
look it up. I'll probably look it up the pictures of a supernova or a bursting supernova, and
Awesome.
when I had the fact that
Hmm.
all those supernova exploded, their so supernovas are basically exploding stars. So the
Hmm.
stars exploded in the early
Hmm.
universe, and they because they got themselves ripped apart,
Hmm.
they spewed all their atoms and
Hmm.
all their molecules, and all those molecules are what these planets are made up of,
Mhm.
water is made up of, life
Mhm.
is made up of.
Mhm.
So when I think about us as stardusts, so we are
Hmm.
basically star stuff, we are made up of star
Hmm.
stuff. So when I think
Awesome.
about that, I feel like I am connected with the universe. Yeah, so
Hmm.
that gives me an immense, I won't call it
Shanti,
spiritual. I'm
peace.
not spirit. I won't use those words. I'm not spiritual at all,
Okay.
but I
Hmm.
get a similar kind of
Feeling.
feeling, if I may say, that gets me connected with the universe. Yep.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. Now remember, religion is not spiritual, right? And I do want to clarify this for if anybody has any confusion. Being religious and spiritual are two different things, right? And you all are thinking on the right lines, like you rightly said. We also have a few inputs here. If yeah, Shreya says if mind and is stable and quiet, soul will automatically be in peace, right? So that's beautiful. Also, Alok said, you know, time with self. If you spend time with self, that's spiritual. Ajay, you said to keep your soul happy, you travel to a lot of places. I'm sure you must be jealous too that I'm in Himachal, even in this pandemic, like Alok said in the beginning. But yeah, traveling does give a lot of peace and harmony to our mind. Alok also said to help someone when you, yes, absolutely, when you extend a helping hand, a shoulder to cry on, it gives that satisfaction. When you help someone, it gives that satisfaction in the true sense. Tina, you're absolutely right. Meditation does rejuvenate the soul, uh, in multiple ways. Yeah. Okay, just spending time with your daughter, huh? And noticing how she spends her day worry free. And that's something that we can really learn from children, because as we grow older, we lose the child within us. The child within us somewhere dies. So we need to keep that bacha within us always, that child within us always alive, right? And that's a good way to extend a helping, to rejuvenate your spirit, the soul. If you have a live, independent, happy spirit, you definitely will be happy. So, that absolutely, my friends, brings a lot of personal effectiveness. So, one, taking ownership. Two, your ability to manage your hot buttons, and then also taking care of the space between the stimulus and respond, and responding, not reacting, using the four human endowments of self-awareness, imagination, independent will, and conscience, and then taking care of yourself holistically in the four dimensions, which is the mind, body, heart, and soul: physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual. There's one last thing that I want to talk to you about, if I may. We're at 11:06. I'm going to take the next 10 minutes, and by 11:15 we should be, hopefully should be able to complete, wind it up. And that's something. How can we really bring a balance in our life? Because all of this ultimately will give us personal effectiveness. So there is a concept of life wheel. Okay. um, if you all have a paper and a pencil or a pen handy, can you get one for yourself? Possible? Okay. What about others? Okay. Okay, great.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Okay. So, um, what about the rest? Shreya I don't have the participant list open right in front of me. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Okay, so you see, imagine our life. You see, in our life, there are various aspects, okay? And effectiveness comes in when we have balance in these aspects. So, what I'd like you to do is draw a circle, like a big circle, which can be like a wheel, okay? Um, You can draw that, and then from the center, just give me one quick minute. 10 minutes. My son was here.
Okay.
He wanted to know. Okay. Um, So what we want to do, and this concept is is has been used by a lot of coaching consultants, and there's another tool called neuro linguistic programming, NLP, not natural language processing, for IT experts, right? It's neuro linguistic programming. In our body we have a lot of neurons, and they form connections, and a linguistic is a powerful tool to build those connections. That's a subject for another day, another time, long and very interesting study. But we want to look at the concept of wheel of life to be able to draw that balance. Okay, so it's that wheel that will truly help you create a balance, bring happiness and success. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on 8 subjects, okay, 8 aspects of our life. Okay, so uh, on the boundary of the circle, maybe you can label those 8 parameters that I'm going to talk about. Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to score yourself and draw lines. Okay, mark yourself. So imagine this wheel, and from the center of the circle to the outer side of the circle, you will mark it from 1 to 10. Okay, so if this is a circle, okay, I'm going to give you a parameter. Center of the circle will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then center of the circle for the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. Okay, so um the subdivisions that I want to mark yourself, it's imagine like a pie chart also, that I can call it. uh, First dimension is business and career, and you can put it anywhere on the circle. Okay, that's why it's a circle. It's not like a straight line. Okay, so first one, I want you to reflect on business and career. Second one, I want you to reflect on finance. Okay, third one, I want you to reflect on health. Fourth aspect, I want you to reflect on family and friends. Okay. Fifth one, you see, love, romance, whatever you'd like to call it. You can call it love in your life. In some places, I've seen it as romance. Okay, whatever you'd like to put there. Sixth one is your personal development. Seventh one is fun and recreation. And last one is contribution to society. Okay, so now these are your 8 aspects. Would you want me to repeat, or you've got these?
Repeat it once.
Okay, I'll repeat it once. Okay, number one says business and career. Okay, second is finance. Third is health. Fourth is family and friends. Fifth is love or romance, whatever you're comfortable with, right? Sixth is personal development. Seventh is fun and recreation. And eighth is contribution to society. Okay. Now, what you need to do is it's so every slice of the pie that you're going to now make is like a these 8 categories. Now, I've given you value of 1, which means terrible. I'm not doing great, and 10 is the highest. I'm very, very satisfied. Extremely dissatisfied will be 1. Satisfied on the outer, towards the outer circle, will be 10. Okay. Now, remember, value of 1 will be closest to the center of the circle. That's why the 1 point is the towards the inside, and the and 10 is towards the outside, right? So what I want you to do is now take a minute and reflect on this. What is your wheel of life? Where do you score yourself on these 8 aspects? Right? Complete it in all honesty, okay? And I'm not going to ask you to share this wheel. It's very, very personal, but it gives you an insight into where you currently stand. What is the kind of life you're living? Where you want to bring in balance. So I'm going to keep quiet for a minute, allowing you time to reflect. Okay. See, business and career would be how satisfied are you with your job, right? Is this the job that you've imagined you wanted to be in? Do you love it? How are you satisfied with it in terms of maybe the financial aspect also? You can look at it. What do you think about the finances? Is whatever income you have, is it helping you meet your basic needs? You can maybe think about your loan. Is this finance, is money the only thing that matters? So what is your satisfaction level in that area? And when you talk about health, think about it. How healthy are you physically? How healthy are you mentally? How are you feeling about your appearance, weight? Are you engaged in any sports? What's your satisfaction level there? When you think about family, friends, think about it. What's your circle of friends? How many do you have? Are you satisfied with that? Do you spend time with them? You can think all those aspects when you determine your level of satisfaction on a scale of 1 to 10. Talking about love, romance, do you have a relationship with somebody who is committed, who you're committed to? Are you happy together? Does this area need any, what is your current level of satisfaction? When you think of personal development, think about how do you deal with personal growth, your new experiences. Are you connected to the inner and the outer world? What's your learning curve? Do you pick up a new learning? How satisfied are you in that area? And then let's look at the seventh one, fun and recreation. Right. See, fun is also an integral part. So how do you enjoy life? Do you practice hobbies, sports? Do you get free time? Do you create free time? How do you engage in that free time? What do you really do? And then looking at the last one, which is your contribution. Do you help others? Do you volunteer? Maybe sports, maybe clubs? How do you help? How do you go about that? Now, in some, um, so have you managed to complete it?
Yeah, doesn't
Okay.
feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't feels good.
Doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these stuff, I feel like I'm inside the circle, which is like more towards the center. Or maybe it is
Hmm.
like the negative thinking has kicked in. Like, I don't know what I'm doing for
Hmm.
the society,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right?
That's you see, that's absolutely okay. A lot of times being uncomfortable is a start point to take some action also, right? I'm
Hmm.
going to copy the link in the chat. This is the link that I, picked these categories from. And you can also download this template, a template to make your own wheel of life, right? And look at sample wheels of life as well. Now remember, there is no good or bad wheel of life. Okay, it totally depends on you. What do you really want? How can you strike a balance? And sometimes you see the kind of introspection that you really want to do, that you may be very satisfied in terms of work, in terms of, say, finances, but you may be extremely dissatisfied with yourself in terms of, say, social or family life, right? So, or vice versa, or any aspect. And these aspects are interlinked as well, if you come to think of it, right? Bring raise awareness and bring satisfaction in one, the other will automatically start raising. So you can identify what are those areas where you are dissatisfied and want to raise your awareness, do something, and bring balance here. So balance is the key, right? It's not that it's not possible to have 10 on all parameters. Sometimes someone may feel that, okay, I'm not too keen. This is what gives me satisfaction when I don't engage so much in say money or financials. I just want enough to survive. That's a personal choice. But make those choices. Can we ignore health? We really can't ignore health. If we have been ignoring, then this is a good morning time to tell us that, hey, I really want to spend time, bring balance in this part of my wheel. And that will give me a complete, holistic, balanced life. So that's something that I wanted to share with you. Your thoughts, your questions?
This was helpful. This a wheel of life. I
Mhm.
guess it was there. I mean, the feeling was there, but by putting it on a paper, has kind of bring it to the front, right? At least now I can see in front of myself. So I love this thought process and this activity.
Hmm.
Maybe it has given. Maybe I need to work on some of the bits. I need to take some action. So quite helpful for me.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And that's the way to bring a balance and center yourself and center your thoughts. Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Tina. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, all of you, and playing along and learning along, right? So that's step one for effectiveness. I do have more to share, maybe in the upcoming sessions, but today these are the few things that I wanted to talk about. How you can really focus on building a truly a balanced life, and truly ensuring that your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self is being taken care of. Because ultimately, all of these aspects will strengthen your roots. And your true character is determined by how strong your roots are. Remember, trees are able to sustain or withstand tough times only when their roots are strong, otherwise, they fall. These are the tips to bring in that personal effectiveness that I thought you could keep in mind. So that's all from me. Any
Awesome.
questions, any thoughts? I'd be happy to hear.
Yep. Thanks, Madhu, for sharing your thought. I think it has been very helpful. One quick question from my end. I
Mhm.
think this last exercise was quite helpful. Question is, how often do we need to do the exercise? Any guidance, suggestions? How often? Every month? Every 3 months? What is the guideline that you would suggest for us?
Yeah, my sense would be you must take a stock every month, and then every I mean, for to begin with, every month. And then when you see some centering is happening, you are bringing in a balance, then every 3 months. And then you can also then and then in few times, after few times spending it every 3 months with it, then you can look at it every six. You can do a half yearly exercise also, right? But to begin with, you can start doing it monthly. um, the other add-on thought to that will be, start planning weekly. Because when you plan weekly, then you're able to sustain yourself. And you know that these are the activities that you need to do every day. So when you plan weekly, you'll plan for the 7 days of the week. You will factor in time to spend time in these 8 areas. In fact, in the next session, I will talk to you about planning in a little more detail, where we'll talk about how to prioritize. What is it that you need to keep in mind to prioritize, right? But for this wheel of life, to begin with, my suggestion would be, look at it on a monthly basis. Keep taking a stock of it. Okay, hope that answers your question.
Yep, it does. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, what about the rest? All right, if no
Feel, feel,
questions.
feel, yeah, feel free to type your questions in the chat window in case you don't want to speak about it. So while you are
Yeah.
thinking about the question, um, I got this personal question: why this workshop? The reason for this workshop is what Madhu was talking about a lot of time is something which we know it's there in the back of our mind, but it is really required to reinforce them. With the current situation, so many things happening around, so many worries around finance, health, career, and whatnot. There are a lot of things which I don't know. It didn't happen. Like if none of you have been infected because you took precaution, so the fear of it needs to be maintained. But still, I mean, it's no longer there. So the whole idea and the intent of this workshop was to reinforce some of those ideas, to kind of go back and think about some of those activities, some of those building blocks, which really defines who we are. So the whole thing
Definitely.
about mind, soul, mind, health, mind, and soul.
Body, mind,
It
heart,
is,
and soul.
yes, right. It is really very important to spend time and think about it and take care of it.
Yeah.
We do plan to conduct a couple of more workshops on it. So do let us know how did you think this workshop went, and if you have suggestions here, please let us know. Anything, Madhu, that you would like to add?
All good. And my and the yeah, just to reiterate what you said, and I said this in the beginning also, these things may sound simple, these things also may sound idealistic, but interestingly, fortunately, unfortunately, these things are the way to take charge, to take control in our hands. And a lot of times we forget these are, it's like common sense put together, but common sense, as we know, is not so common, and we tend to forget. So that was our intent. But I'm sure when you joined in for this workshop, you would have also been curious, and you would have come with a thought in mind. So was that thought addressed, or is there anything else that you would like us to touch upon? We'd be happy to know.
Yep. So before we wrap up, I want to do this exercise, right? Take a good look around your room, whichever room you are in or whichever place you are in. Uh, Find something which you have not used for past 6 months. You can show or you can type. Find something which you have not used for the past 6 months. You can show it or you can type about it. I have my stuff. And did I lose it? Oh, I have. And the time starts now. Okay, DVD player. And that is there in your room, Samar? It has to be there in your room right now.
Yep, it's there.
Okay. Oh, okay, music system. Brush. Okay. And this is my sketch pen there in my drawer. I took it out to draw the life wheel, but 6 months I haven't used it. And on the fun side, this is also something which I haven't used for the past 6 months. It's a Wix. Okay, running shoes. I guess you got the idea, right? 6 months, something probably that you loved. That's why you bought it. That's why you. That's why you have still that in your room. So maybe it's time to kind of take them out, try them out. You never know where it can lead you to. And it is not always about the objective or the outcome. It is also about the journey that you need to, that we need to cherish and enjoy. On that note, thank you very much. Hope this 1 hour 30 minute was rejuvenating for you. You felt good about it because that's the emotion we would like you to carry all along the day and the week as well. And the next session probably is going to be on the 22nd of December. We will publish the details. And if you are interested, if you have suggestions, feel free to let us know.